Life in late Cretaceous North America, between 68 and 66 million years ago, was a brutal arena of survival, even for the mighty Tyrannosaurus rex. Far from being invincible, T-Rex faced a deadly gauntlet of rivals: armored giants capable of delivering fatal blows, opportunistic predators waiting to exploit any weakness, and cunning scavengers ready to challenge its supremacy. The sprawling landscapes of the Hell Creek Formation and beyond were filled with creatures that didn't just endure, they thrived, developing sophisticated defenses and strategies that could turn the tables on the so-called king. These weren't helpless prey, they were formidable survivors, some of whom could prove to be a T-Rex's worst nightmare. In this journey into the perilous world of late Cretaceous North America, we'll meet the challengers that dared to defy the most fearsome predator of all time. Among the most prominent of T-Rex's contemporaries was the heavily armored Ankylosaurus. Recent biomechanical studies of ankylosaur tail clubs, particularly detailed research on the related genus Pachycephalosaurus, have challenged traditional assumptions about their primary function. While these studies suggest the tail clubs were primarily used for intraspecific competition, this doesn't preclude their defensive potential. Scientific analysis of ankylosaur tail mechanics has revealed impressive capabilities. Impact force calculations indicate that larger ankylosaurs could generate sufficient force to potentially fracture bone. For example, studies on Pachycephalosaurus suggest its tail could deliver around 4,800 newtons of force, comparable to the impact of a professional baseball bat. While we lack direct evidence of defensive tail use in Ankylosaurus, the biomechanical capability for serious injury was certainly present. However, the true defensive masterpiece of Ankylosaurus was its armor. Recent osteohistological studies of ankylosaurid armor have revealed a complex arrangement of osteoderms and underlying bone plates, creating a virtually impenetrable dorsal shield. T-Rex's powerful bite would have been effective only against exposed soft tissue around the flanks or underbelly, requiring precise positioning during an attack. Unless desperately hungry, the energy expenditure and risk of injury might have made Ankylosaurus an unappealing target. Triceratops is often depicted as the primary prey of T-Rex, and fossil evidence supports this. Bite marks and healing wounds on Triceratops fossils suggest real-life encounters. However, these encounters were likely high-risk endeavors for the predator. Triceratops prausus and T. horridus, the two known species from Hell Creek, were truly massive animals, reaching lengths of 8 to 9 meters and masses up to 12 metric tons. To put this in perspective, they significantly outweighed modern African elephants, which average 4 to 6 tons, and are considered virtually immune to predation due to their size alone. Triceratops combined this impressive mass with robust musculature and defensive weapons. The characteristic three-horn arrangement, 2 long brow horns and a shorter nasal horn, served multiple functions. While these structures were primarily used in intraspecific competition and sexual selection, as evidenced by stress markers and growth patterns in fossil specimens, they would have been formidable defensive weapons. Although the horn's internal structure was relatively delicate compared to modern bovid horns, their size and positioning could still inflict serious damage when wielded by a 12-ton animal. Modern behavioral studies of large herbivores suggest that when threatened, even animals whose horns or antlers are primarily used for sexual selection will readily employ them defensively. This indicates that T-Rex likely needed to employ careful hunting strategies when targeting Triceratops, potentially favoring ambush tactics over pursuit predation. Fossil evidence suggests that T-Rex may have avoided confrontations with groups of Triceratops, instead targeting isolated individuals, a strategy similar to how modern large carnivores approach dangerous prey. Perhaps the most imposing of T-Rex's contemporaries was Alamosaurus sanjuanensis, though its presence in Hell Creek remains debated among paleontologists. Recent size estimates suggest adults reached lengths of approximately 20 to 26 meters, placing them among the largest known North American dinosaurs. Alamosaurus possessed several defensive advantages beyond its sheer size. Recent studies of titanosaur anatomy suggest these animals possessed thick, tough skin with embedded osteoderms, small armor plates that would have provided additional protection. Their estimated mass of 30 to 38 metric tons would have made them formidable opponents, even for an adult T-Rex weighing 7 to 9 tons. The question of rearing behavior in titanosaurs remains controversial. While earlier studies suggested they could rear up, recent biomechanical analyses indicate this might have been energetically costly and potentially risky for such massive animals. However, their long muscular necks and robust limbs would have been effective defensive weapons even without rearing. Fossil evidence from other titanosaur species suggests they could effectively defend against large theropod attacks through lateral strikes with their tails and necks. Young or injured Alamosaurus would have represented rare but valuable hunting opportunities for T-Rex. Recent studies of tyrannosaur feeding behavior suggest they were capable of efficiently processing large carcasses, potentially feeding multiple individuals from a single sauropod kill. When most people think of hadrosaurs, they picture helpless, duck-billed prey animals. However, recent discoveries have dramatically changed our understanding of Edmontosaurus annectens, one of Hell Creek's most robust residents. Growing up to 12 meters in length and weighing up to 4 tons, these animals were far from defenseless. Fossil evidence has revealed something remarkable. Multiple Edmontosaurus specimens bear healed T-Rex bite marks, indicating not only did they survive encounters with the apex predator, but they lived long enough for their wounds to heal completely. This suggests that T-Rex attacks on adult Edmontosaurus were far from guaranteed successes. What made these seemingly docile herbivores such formidable opponents? Recent biomechanical studies reveal that Edmontosaurus possessed incredibly powerful tail muscles, capable of delivering devastating blows. Their reinforced vertebrae and robust leg structure suggest they could both run at considerable speeds and deliver powerful kicks. When cornered, an adult Edmontosaurus could rear up on its hind legs, using its considerable mass and muscular tail as counterbalance before bringing its full weight down on an attacker. Among Hell Creek's most peculiar residents was Pachycephalosaurus wyomingensis, whose most distinctive feature, a 25 centimeter thick dome of solid bone on its skull, made it a formidable opponent even for T-Rex. Recent studies of this dome's internal structure reveal it was perfectly adapted for absorbing and delivering massive impact forces. Biomechanical analyses suggest that a charging Pachycephalosaurus could generate impact forces comparable to modern musk oxen, enough to shatter bones. While smaller than T-Rex, standing about 4.5 meters long, this dinosaur's reinforced vertebral column and powerful leg muscles allowed it to accelerate quickly and deliver devastating headbutting attacks. What made Pachycephalosaurus particularly dangerous was its unpredictability. Unlike Triceratops, whose horns provided a clear indication of its defensive capabilities, a T-Rex facing a Pachycephalosaurus would have had to contend with an opponent that could rapidly pivot and strike from multiple angles, potentially targeting vulnerable areas like legs or flanks. While not technically a dinosaur, this massive pterosaur represents one of the most unusual threats T-Rex encountered. Standing as tall as a modern giraffe when grounded and possessing a wingspan of up to 10 to 11 meters, Quetzalcoatlus northropi was no ordinary flying reptile. Recent studies of its skull and neck vertebrae reveal it was an active predator, capable of tackling surprisingly large prey. While adult T-Rex were too large to be threatened, juvenile tyrannosaurs would have been at considerable risk. Quetzalcoatlus possessed a long, reinforced beak filled with sharp teeth, and its unique neck muscles allowed it to strike with snake-like speed. What made Quetzalcoatlus particularly nightmarish was its hunting strategy. Unlike other predators that could be spotted approaching on the ground, this massive pterosaur could attack from above with little warning. Fossil evidence suggests it was capable of quadrupedal walking, meaning it could effectively pursue prey on the ground after striking from above. For young T-Rex, the threat could come from any direction, even the sky above. Among the most formidable theropods sharing T-Rex's ecosystem was Dakota Raptor steini, one of the largest known dromaeosaurids. Recent skeletal analyses indicate Dakota Raptor was more robustly built than earlier dromaeosaurids like Velociraptor, with estimates suggesting adults reached lengths of 5 to 6 meters. This larger size and stronger build suggests it likely employed different hunting strategies than its smaller relatives. While a one-on-one encounter would heavily favor T-Rex due to its superior size and bite force, estimated at over 35,000 newtons, the possibility of pack hunting behavior in dromaeosaurids remains a topic of scientific debate. While popular media has embraced the concept, the fossil evidence is less conclusive. The strongest evidence for pack hunting comes from trackway sites and bone beds of other dromaeosaurid species, though these could also represent feeding aggregations rather than coordinated hunting groups. If Dakota Raptor did hunt in groups, their recurved foot claws, measuring up to 9.5 inches along the outer curve, and serrated teeth would have made them formidable opponents, even for T-Rex. However, it's important to note that direct evidence of conflict between these species remains elusive in the fossil record. Perhaps the most significant threat to T-Rex, particularly juveniles, came from its own species. Recent studies of T-Rex bite marks on T-Rex bones provide compelling evidence for cannibalistic behavior. This matches patterns seen in other large theropods, most notably Majungasaurus from Madagascar, where bite marks on bones provide direct evidence of intraspecific predation. Juvenile T-Rex were particularly vulnerable during their growth stages. Recent research indicates T-Rex underwent a dramatic transformation during growth, shifting from relatively fast, lean juveniles to robust, powerful adults. During this transition period, typically between ages 14 to 18, young T-Rex would have been particularly vulnerable to larger adults. This cannibalistic behavior aligns with patterns observed in modern apex predators. Large carnivores like lions, bears, and even chimpanzees occasionally practice cannibalism, particularly during times of resource scarcity. For juvenile T-Rex, this meant navigating an ecosystem where their greatest threat might have been their own species, adults that possessed the same hunting adaptations they were still developing. While Tyrannosaurus rex deservedly earned its reputation as one of history's most formidable predators, the Hell Creek ecosystem reveals a more nuanced picture of prehistoric life. Like modern apex predators, T-Rex face significant challenges and risks during hunting, with each potential prey species presenting unique defensive capabilities that could turn a hunt deadly for the predator. The fossil record continues to reveal new insights about these complex predator-prey relationships. Healed injuries on T-Rex fossils demonstrate that even this mighty predator regularly survived dangerous encounters, adapting its hunting strategies based on its targets. Like today's large carnivores, T-Rex likely evaluated the risk-reward ratio of each potential hunt, avoiding unnecessarily dangerous confrontations when possible. This understanding transforms our view of T-Rex from a simple movie monster to something far more interesting, a sophisticated predator navigating a complex ecosystem where size alone didn't guarantee survival. The Hell Creek Formation wasn't just a prehistoric killing field. It was a delicate balance of species, each with their own survival strategies, creating an ecosystem as intricate and dynamic as any we see today. Speaking of the Tyrant King, most people don't realize the full terror and potential of T-Rex. From its hunting strategies to its sensory capabilities, recent discoveries have challenged everything we thought we knew about this apex predator. In our next video, we'll dive deep into the science behind how terrifying T-Rex actually was. Stick around to find out.